Frank, as the big playoff implication matchups. Let's start in the West, where it was hockey's equivalent of a Hail Mary. Brock Besser gets the puck at the top of the circles and just puts his head down and takes a slap shot as hard as he can. It goes in, 2.7 seconds left. So even though the Canucks end up losing an OT on a Philip Broberg overtime winner, I feel like the Canucks are wiping their brow a little bit, being like, you know what? We got a point. We dodged a bullet there at the end.
Yeah, point saved, right? And that's kind of what it felt like, was at least they got one. I mean, considering the circumstances, kind of pulling that one from the jaws of defeat, look, that worked out pretty well. And yeah, I mean, sorry for Oiler fans, Broberg, then from Holloway to Schenn. Look, it's not pretty, but look, nonetheless, also a point loss, though, to a team that they're neck and neck with in the standings. And so it depends on how you want to look at it today. If you're a glass half full fan of the Vancouver Canucks or glass half empty. And kind of the amazing part about all of this, and I'm sure we'll talk about it in a second, is the Calgary Flames, points percentage wise, are actually the team that's in the 8th spot, because they've played one fewer game and have the best, they have the first tiebreaker. So if you consider all those things and smash them all together, the Flames, with an important come from behind victory themselves, continue to scratch and claw in that Western Conference wildcard race.
Yeah, I like that what you said. Glass half full, glass half empty. On one hand, if you're a Canucks fan, you're going, man, that loss in OT and the subsequent Blues win obviously pushed the Blues up to a 43% chance of making the playoffs on Money Puck. So Money Puck has them as the favorites to grab that spot. But then you can go, hey, we still control our own destiny. If Vancouver wins their game in hand over the Blues, they're going to pass them. So on that sense, again, the point was massive. And then you go glass half empty again and go, oh shit, if Calgary just wins their games in hand, then they're going to be in the driver's seat. So again, yes, like you said, Calgary still technically in the driver's seat. If you had to rank them, though, based on probability heading into the weekend, what would your order be? Is St. Louis number one?
If I had to rank them based on talent, I'd go Vancouver 1, St. Louis 2, Calgary 3. If I had to rate them based on scrappiness, though, I'd go Calgary 1, St. Louis 2, Vancouver 3. So, how that ultimately ends up prevailing, I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but I'd bet on the stick-to-itiveness of the Calgary Flames and where they're at. I know they struggle to score, and feels like every night for them is a challenge just to get 3 goals. Like they're playing with one hand tied behind their back, but Dustin Wolf rebounded after a shaky performance, and he's right back in there. So I would go Flames. If I'm edging them out based on goaltending alone, that would be also a differentiator.
So now let's copy and paste that same conversation and apply it to the Montreal Canadiens, who go into the third period. They go down early in the third period, 3-1 to the Islanders, and then boom, Patrick Laine, and then boom, Brendan Gallagher. And we obviously talked about him yesterday on an emotional day for him with the passing of his mother. He scores a massive goal for the Habs. And yes, Montreal loses the game, but you get a point. And you look at the standings and you go, hey, on points percentage, we're still 2 points clear of the Islanders. So we still control our own fate. Disappointed in giving the Islanders the 2 points, obviously, but disaster averted, I suppose, for the Habs.
I think so. And look, here's the other element to this, is that the Ottawa Senators are scuffling a bit now for the first time in a little while. I don't know if it's the moment and they're smelling themselves a little bit or what the case is, but the door is wide open now for a team like the Montreal Canadiens to chase down the Sens, which adds yet another layer of intrigue here. Is that 7th spot back in play? I mean, look, here's the way I look at these standings that are on the screen. Cross off the Bruins and the Red Wings. The Blue Jackets are still very much in the race, although it does feel like they've hit a bit of a wall. The Rangers don't look to me like a team that's possibly going to get it together. And if you sort it by points percentage, they're actually below Detroit and Columbus. And yet that game on Calgary, like, you should not be allowed to make the playoffs if you turn in performances like that against another team in a similar spot and you have 7 shots through 2 periods. The Islanders deserve full marks for the way that they've battled back, again, seemingly from the dead. And I look at this team and I say, the fact that they've survived with this poor special teams and a team that also at times really struggles to score, it's kind of amazing. Like, they might almost make the playoffs by accident and after trading away one of their best players. So they're right in the mix. But if I were to pick one team to answer your next question, it would be the Montreal Canadiens to get in. Like, I just like the mojo and energy that they have. I think they have a playoff ready offense, and they've, obviously the Lane Hudson differentiator on the back end, that goes a long way.
Never forget an episode of Daily Faceoff Live where you weren't here, but it was me, Colby, and Johnny Lazarus. And Johnny Lazarus said, I will get a tramp stamp if the Islanders make the playoffs. I think that was back in like the middle of January. So, I mean, come on, there's got to be a little part of us that's rooting for that.
Can we pick it out? Like, will it be like a rose that says mom or something?
That would be great.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Seravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.